Welcome to another episode of Pulling Threads. Today I'm going to talk about those pesky anniversaries of past events that creep up on us and we may not even see them coming. So have you ever had a certain time of year that rolls around and suddenly you feel off? You don't know why. Sometimes your body feels heavier. Emotions might be more intense. You might check to see if it's a full moon. And old memories just kind of creep in, sometimes without any rhyme or reason, and they don't always make sense. Then you check your calendar, and it hits you. This is the time of year when something happened, or it's someone's birthday. This typically happens for me in early July around my dad's birthday, and many times I don't even realize what day it is until I just feel off and something reminds me that it's his birthday. So maybe it was a loss, maybe it was a trauma, a breakup, or a moment that changed your life in one way or another. And without really thinking about the anniversary and the day, we have a reaction. It's called an anniversary reaction. And it's one of the most fascinating ways that our body holds on to our experiences and remembers even when our minds don't. So today I'm going to talk about why this happens and how it might show up for you and what you can do to honor it. Because it's not something that we just can't get through. It can also be an opportunity for healing and moving through something that maybe we pushed through in the past and we need to revisit to get some final healing done. So let's talk about it. So in the Loom, we talk a lot about our nervous systems. Why? Because they're running the show many times, especially when something dramatic or traumatic happens to us. And our nervous system doesn't really track time the way that our minds do. It doesn't rely on calendars, clocks, daylight savings time. It remembers through sensations and emotions and triggers. So Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, who wrote The Body Keeps Score, he really explains how trauma imprints on our nervous system and our bodies. So when we're experiencing something overwhelming, our body encodes it as a survival memory. It stores it in our muscles, in our gut, in our breath, even in our immune system. So many times when we are going through stressful things or when these anniversaries arise, we may find ourselves sick. It's impacting our immune system. Maybe we feel achy because our muscles are trying to remind us. Here's the kicker. When that anniversary comes around, our body remembers, might not react, or it may react before our conscious mind ever even catches up. This is why you might feel really down or really off before you realize it's Dad's birthday or it's the day that you had an accident 2 years ago. So what do anniversary reactions look like and how do they show up? Well, it varies from person to person. Everybody's different. They certainly do not look the same for everyone. And for me, they don't look the same every year. But there are some common ways that they show up that you might be on the lookout for. Things like emotional shifts, moodiness, feeling a sudden sadness, anger, extreme anxiety, or even a numbness without having any reason for it. Many people, including myself, would just say, I'm in a funk today, or I feel off, or they just might be really moody, depending on their personality. It can also come up as body sensations, which I think that we often don't realize. So often I will have a headache and not realize that the headache is from one of these anniversaries or something else going on that's weighing heavy on me, I just think, oh, I'm catching a cold or I got a migraine again, whatever. So headaches, fatigue, body aches, gut issues, especially, your body is possibly reliving the stress response from that event or the memories of that event. We can also have dreams and flashbacks. So sometimes our subconscious brings past memories into our dreams, making the past feel alive again. That happens a lot, and people don't put two and two together and realize what's happening. One other issue that can come up is these like almost unexplained triggers. So you might find yourself avoiding a certain place or food or even songs without realizing that they're connected to the trauma or the person or the memory that's coming up. These are not random reactions. They're part of your body's way of processing what happened. So that means that it's something we can work with and something we can do something about. Even if we don't see it coming, once we realize what's happening, there are ways to work through it. But first, let's talk about preparing for these trauma anniversaries. Okay. So, as usual, my first and foremost tool is meditation. So before we talk about it, I just want to get grounded and think about what these anniversaries stand for. Awareness is really key with this. If you know the dates that tend to affect you, you can plan ahead so you're not caught off guard. And it's not a bad idea to leave certain dates kind of open on the calendar in preparation for these anniversaries. Mark your calendar, but not with dread, with an idea of you're going to prepare for this. That way, if the big feelings come up, you know why, you're prepared. You don't ruin some other event because you're off for the day. Plan for a lighter load that day. And as the date approaches, you can ask yourself, how am I feeling? What do I need? And build kind of a plan, a support plan. Whether it's having therapy that day, talking to friends, making plans with friends, or creating space alone for yourself, whichever you need. Have a plan in place if you feel like you might need it. Because when we expect these reactions, we can kind of meet them with more understanding, less fear, and take advantage of an opportunity to heal and move through maybe grieving or dealing with the trauma in a different way that is therapeutic. So on the day of the anniversary, you have to get through it. You can't go around it. It's better to not try to avoid it because it's only going to create a probably stronger reaction. It's better to really try to move through it. So it's the day of the anniversary. What can you do? It's easy to say, get through it. But what does that look like? What does getting through it mean? Okay. First, it's giving yourself grace. If you're feeling off, it makes sense. It's okay. Your body is processing and it's okay to rest. It's okay to rest mentally and physically. Some people like to create rituals, like light a candle, maybe write a letter, write in your journal, visit a place that holds meaning for you, and really give yourself a way to honor this experience, whatever happened. Moving through it is important because trauma is stored in the body. So movement, walking, stretching, breath work really can help release it. And this is a perfect time to release it. Grounding practices, of course, my favorite, meditation, deep breathing, sensory grounding, like holding something warm, a warm cup of coffee, a warm cup of tea, while you're listening to some calming music, just to give yourself a chance to be in the present moment and step out of those memories from the trauma. This isn't about getting over it. It's not about getting over what happened. It's about making space for it in a way that serves you. So it's really taking an opportunity to use this anniversary for healing, resolution, rest, whatever you need. Anniversaries of losses and traumas, they're not just reminders of pain. They can be invitations to heal. And they can be a great opportunity to heal by yourself or with others if they want to join you or help you. It's also a really good moment to reflect on your growth. So even if the pain is still there, you're not the same person that you were when that happened. So what's changed? This is a really great journal prompt. What has changed? Allow yourself to grieve. If the emotions are coming up, then they need to come up and let them. Grieve is an act of love. I love that saying because so many of us were not taught to grieve. We're not allowed to grieve or didn't allow ourselves to grieve at some point in our life. But grief is such a beautiful act of love. Like, reframe the story. Instead of just reliving the pain, ask, like, what do I need to heal more deeply this time around? And remember, healing isn't linear. But every time we meet these anniversaries with awareness and care, we soften the imprint of the trauma and reclaim more of ourselves. That is the beauty of this work. That is the beauty of being on a healing journey and inviting therapy and healing into our lives. You don't have to suffer. And we don't have to live in pain. So remember, your body remembers because it's trying to protect you, right? But you don't have to be trapped in the past. And by understanding how the trauma anniversary shows up and creating a space to honor them, you can transform the anniversaries that have been painful in the past into opportunities for healing. It doesn't mean they aren't going to hurt, but it means you're going to use that hurt and that pain and those memories, whatever's coming up, to help move yourself forward in a more therapeutic way. I hope this helps. And if this video resonates with you, let me know in the comments. I'd like to know some of your experiences and stories. If you've experienced anniversary reactions like this, how do you navigate them? What are your rituals? Do you have something that you do every year on an anniversary of something and you think it would help someone else? Well, let's have a conversation. Share it in the comments. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe and share this with someone who might need to hear it. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time.